All right, guys, welcome back to the Mike's On with College Football Podcast. We've got our week one. Finally, we're here at the first week of college football. Last week was week 0. Had a couple games here, but this weekend is loaded. There's about 52 games on the slate. We're not talking all of them. We're talking a few, the ones I think you need to look out for this weekend. So it's about 11 o'clock on Friday night. I have just seen Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech in Norfolk. Goodness gracious. Didn't think they would pull it out, and they did. Gonna be a long year for the Hokies, goodness gracious. So, first game on the slate for tomorrow, we've got NC State in Greenville, North Carolina at ECU. That game is at noon. We've got an over-under of 51, and favored is NC State by 12. My pick is ECU with the points, ECU plus the 12, and we're going under. This is why. This is Dave Doran's take his medicine game. I think the run game that he wants so bad to go forward struggles early to gain a foothold, and Devin Leary isn't allowed to cook until late in the game when they need him to create separation. North Carolina State's defense will put a chokehold on a shaky offensive line of ECU's that has 3 transfers on it, 2 from the FCS leagues. I think this is a very low-scoring game, and NC State pulls away late, 20-10. Dave Doran learns a lesson on allowing the passing game to get involved sooner rather than later. Also at 12 o'clock, we've got UNC and App State. This game is also at noon. 56.5 for the total, and App minus 1.5 is your favorite here. Almost a pick 'em. My pick for this game, UNC and the over. A slow start could lead to a fast second half as both teams look to establish the run. App is traditional, and UNC without Josh Downs is really going to look to get the run going. UNC will also look to hit a lot of play action game, going and targeting their tight ends and their running backs in the flat. App will pound the rock against a still soft UNC defense, and both teams won't really stop each other, I think, and expect big plays in the second half as that play action game starts to roll. UNC wins 35-30. Great game up there in Boone this weekend. Up next, we've got Oregon and Georgia. This game is at 3:30 Eastern and is in the Big Body Benz in Atlanta. We've got Georgia favored at 16.5 points and the total set at 54. I am taking Oregon here to cover the spread 16.5. Oregon can hang with Georgia in the trenches. Do we see the chaos Bo Nix that we saw at Auburn all the time, or do we see a more stick to the game plan kind of Bo Nix? Skeptical if the tight end army of Georgia is still largely effective against this Oregon team. I think Oregon pulls this out 28-24. Check this one out, guys. It's going to be a real helmet game. 2 big programs going at it. Love to see this on week 1, and I think they're pretty evenly matched. It should be a good game all around. Next, this is kind of Mike's homer. I like the people on this team pick game of the week. It's UTEP at Oklahoma. This is going to be a blowout. It's at 3:30. Oklahoma's favored by 30 points. Totals at 30.5 rather. Totals at 57. Oklahoma taking the 30.5 plus the over. This is Mike's selfish watch game of the week. I'm a sucker for UTEP's quarterback Gavin Hardison, who will likely be running for his life and hurling the ball blindly downfield 60-plus yards. I just hope he stays upright until the end of the game. Also, kind of want to get a look at this new-look Sooners team with head coach Brett Venables at the helm. Dylan Gabriel, their quarterback, has been electric at UCF, and I'm excited to see what he does in Oklahoma. Watch the first quarter and then get out of there. Next, we've got Cincinnati and Arkansas. Cincinnati made the playoff last year, but however, they lost 9 NFL-caliber players from the team combined on offense and defense. This game's at 3:30. Arkansas is favored by 6.5, and the over-under is 53.5. I like Arkansas 6.5 here, with the over. Cincinnati has to replace too much on both sides of the ball, and KJ Jefferson, quarterback of the Hogs, is going to run wild. He's a big Cam Newton style quarterback, big guy, strong arm, runs the ball pretty well, really good in the QB run game. I think the Hogs really are more of a ground and pound team this year after losing Kadarius Toney from last year's team to the NFL. Hogs win 35-24. Also at 3:30, we are going to stay in the South here. Houston at UTSA. We're in San Antonio for my Roadrunners. Houston favored by 4 points, total at 62. I am taking the UTSA Roadrunners +4 to cover and the over. Houston loses a lot on the offensive line, and UTSA can run wild with returning quarterback Frank Harris. Houston is thought to be a New York Six bowl game darling this year and needs a good showing for this game to set the tone early. Roadrunners are looking to continue the dream run from the 11-1 season last year. This game will be loud. UTSA has been packing the stadium as of recently. The Alamo Dome where they play is a very fast track. It is turf, and guys fly on it. They've been selling out. They sold out almost every home game last year, and I expect this one to be loud as all get out. Expect Houston to have some false starts, maybe a bit shaky early, only better for the Roadrunners. Bit of a soft spot on the schedule here. Middle Tennessee State at JMU. Mike, why are we tuning into this game? It's at 6 o'clock. There's other good games that are going to be going on soon. I kind of want to break in the day. Hey, just casual eyes on this game, okay? JMU, James Madison University, this is their first year in FBS football, and let's check them out, right? We got to support everybody from the bottom. We watched Hawaii last week, and we're going to watch a little bit of JMU this week. Not saying they're as bad as Hawaii, but we include everybody here. JMU is favored by 5, total at 59. I like JMU at the 5, and I'm going to go under here. Middle Tennessee State isn't a great program, and kind of just a very middling team, and I think JMU, they actually don't have all 85 scholarship players. They're sitting somewhere around 75 to 80. So I think they'll try to really limit possessions and keep this one tight. Go Dukes. Next up, big helmet game here. We've got Utah at Florida, 7 p.m. in the Swamp. Utah is actually favored by 2 points, and the total at 51.5. I'm taking Utah, the under. I think Utah establishes the run early and wears out Florida's front line over time. We talked about Florida in the SEC East preview. I like their quarterback, but I'm not too sold on their defensive line. And Utah, as we know, or if you don't know, now you do, they love to run the rock. I think Utah comes out and pounds it early, and I think Florida is going to get overwhelmed in the second half. Keeps it close, 23-17. A lot of people have been talking about how the humidity is really going to play into this. I mean, we've been seeing kids getting cramped up all throughout the first week or so of the season. So, yes, people will cramp up. Bring your bananas and bring your Gatorade. Bring your pickle juice. You're going to need it. All right. Also at the 7 o'clock hour, we've got Army at Coastal Carolina University. Going down to Myrtle Beach. The troops are invading Myrtle Beach at 7 o'clock. Coastal Carolina favored by 2 points, and the total at 53.5. We've got Army. Army, I think, is going to win this game. I've got them covering the spread at +2. Coastal Carolina returns Grayson McCall at quarterback, who is a pro prospect. However, they lost a ton at the skill positions last year. So I think Army's option attack is just going to be too much for a defensive line of Coastal Carolina that is a bit undersized. And my big guy and big game watch for this game is Jacoby Buchanan, fullback for Army, 6 feet 260. The dude is an absolute automatic first down in 3rd and 2, 4th and 2 situations. If it's a yard or 2 yards, the dude is just going to run through somebody and get there. So I expect if Army is running that much, they're going to get into a lot of third and shorts, fourth and shorts, and go to Jacoby. I don't think there's anybody on that Coastal defense that can tackle that guy. Up next, I've got Notre Dame at Ohio State. Yes, it's on here. I think it's going to be a blowout. It's at 7:30. Ohio State's favored by 16.5. Over under 59. I'm taking Ohio State in the over. This game could be over by the third quarter. Why do I watch it? Why should we watch it? Because it's two of the biggest names in college football. Notre Dame has a new head coach this season, and we do need to see what they're doing. I don't think this would be the greatest sample size for how they're going to do for the season, considering their opponent they're playing. But check out for the first half, see what's going on. Ohio State's going to be throwing the ball around, and those receivers for Ohio State are going to be making some plays. And then we move on. Because at the same time is Georgia State at South Carolina. We're in Columbia. South Carolina is favored by 12 points and over under total points of 54.5. I'm taking the Cox and the over here. The Spencer Rattler era begins at South Carolina tonight. I think the Cox offense needs to run through him, and I hope head coach does let it fly. I think Cox win 40-20. As we talked about in the SEC East preview, the Gamecocks are a team that I think is going to be led by the arm of Spencer Rattler. Defense has taken a step back. They've got an NFL talent. They've got NFL talent at QB. Rock with that arm, man. It's going to work out for you, especially against a Sun Belt team. Georgia State is no slouch. They are a good Sun Belt team. I just think South Carolina, if South Carolina comes out conservative and they're handing the ball off and running on early downs and throwing screens and quick stuff, not going to love it. If they're going to play tight and come out conservative, I don't love it for them. I think they need to come out and take shots early, let them know it's going over your head anytime we want it to. For the nightcap, we've got Boise State at Oregon State. 10:30 kick. Oregon State favored by 2.5, over under 56. I like Boise State here. Give me the Broncos covering the 2 points, but we're going to go under. Boise State didn't have a lot at receiver last year, and their best receiver went to the NFL. However, they return a ton on the offensive line, as well as at running back. And I think there's a return to form this year for Boise as they set up a solid run game and play action shots with their quarterback, Hank Bachmeier. He is a fourth-year junior, and I think he is going to lead them to victory. It's a tight one and a bit of a rock fight in Corvallis, 24-21. Finishing off the night, we've got another 10:30 kick on the West Coast, Kent State at Washington. Mike, my God, why are we doing all these West Coast games? I got to go to bed. Look, you don't got to finish these, just start them. Washington favored by 23, over-under set at 60. I like Kent State to cover the points here. They're not going to win. I think they're going to cover the 23. Kent State can flat out score and plays at one of the highest paces in Division I football. They snap the ball, the play happens, and they get back to the line and snap it within about 10 seconds coming off the play clock. You'll rarely see the play clock get below 25 when this Kent State team plays. This new-look Washington team under Kalen DeBoer should have a huge shift in their offense. I think they averaged 22 points a game last year. Really think they're going to take that stride moving forward this year on offense, and I want to see what they're going to do because last year I threw open my mouth every time I watched Washington play football. Can they keep up on defense though? If Kent State comes out hot and they're moving the ball and the defense is a little sluggish, Washington's new look offense is going to have to keep pace. I think that could be really interesting if they come out a little flat. They come out okay. Kent State is moving but not creating points. All right. Still think Kent State's going to grab a couple points, and I don't think Washington State is going to be able to score 40. I think Kent State grabs at least 17 points. That means Washington has to get up into the 50s. No, thank you. Give me Kent State to cover, and give me the under. All right. So these are Mike's only. if only for diehards. Midnight, Western Kentucky at Hawaii. No idea what any of the spread or any stuff is on this. Why watch? Because it's the Bows, man. I love my Bows. Love me some Hawaii football, even though they got pasted 63-10 last week against Vanderbilt. It's a rebuild year for Hawaii, and we're going to stick with them. Join me at midnight for Hawaii hosting Western Kentucky, who almost lost to an FCS program last week. So don't count them out. Bows might have this one. And on Monday, FSU is playing LSU in New Orleans at 7 o'clock. We'll talk more about that on Sunday when we review all these games that happen tomorrow. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This has been your Week 1 picks as well as games to watch. This has been the Mike's On with College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Collins. Thanks for tuning in, and get out there and watch some football, all right? It's going to be a great Saturday. Let's have a good one. See ya.